Hi everyone, Flaming Footy here, and welcome back to the YouTube video on the channel. And today, guys, here we are to continue my AFL 2023 three-game match reviews for the 2023 AFL season. And in today's video, I'm going to be reviewing the first three games of round 13, and those games were Sydney vs St Kilda, Western Bulldogs vs Port Adelaide, and Hawthorn vs Brisbane. Alright, so the first game of the round was a good one, Sydney vs St Kilda, the SCG, and it was Sydney 9-12-66 that got defeated by the Saints 12-8-80. The Saints win by 14 in the end. This is a big win for their year for St Kilda. I feel like that they really need to win a couple of these big games, these 50-50 games. Another one coming up next week versus Richmond, which is a big one. But look, their last few weeks, they've needed a performance like this, I've felt, just to really calm some nerves down after the bye and to get their finals shape looking good. I think they really need to win this game and next week's game, as Richmond is just going to be as crucial as this one. But this was probably one of the weirdest games of footy I've seen in a little while. The Swans did not score in that first quarter, and the Saints kicked 1-1. In the second quarter, the scoring did kick off, and the game felt like it kicked off in the second quarter, really. The Swans kicked 5, the Saints kicked 3, and that's the quarter which the Swans do own. And then in the third quarter, 2-3, so the Saints come back. The Swans still do hold on to the lead, though, at three-quarter time. Then the final quarter, 5 goals for the Saints, 2 for the Swans, and that will seal your deal. A nice win there for the Saints, 129 fantasy for Marshall, 123 for Crouch, 118 for Miller, 107 for Sinclair and Owens, 103 for Florent. Goals behinds now, 3 goals for King, 2 for Owens and Butler, as well as Franklin and Papley. It was a big 350th game for Franklin. He looked all over it early, probably faded away a little bit later, though. Disposals, 34 for Florent, 33 for Crouch, 32 for Sinclair, 30 for Nasai, Wanganeen, Miller. Marks, 9 for Wanganeen, Miller, 8 for Wilkie and Owens, 7 for Lloyd. Tackles, 10 for Rost, 9 for Butler, 8 for Crouch. Hit-outs now, 50 for Marshall, 20 for Hickey, 8 for McLean, 6 for Camentini, 3 for Amati, 2 for Fox, 1 for Owens and Sharman. Team stats now, Rose the Swans at one inside 50s, 54-51. However, it was the Saints which won hit-outs. Clearances, 46-36 in favour of Sydney, 9-11 centre in favour of the Saints, and then 37-25 stoppage in favour of the Swans. The Swans won contested footy by +15. The Saints won marks by 7, 5-7 marks inside 50. So both sides at times were good and at times were poor. The Saints did lead for just over half the game. They laid way more tackles, +39. 99 tackles is an inspiring performance alone. That is a fantastic number count. 60 is not bad at all, but when you put it up to 99, wow. And then 8-15 tackles inside 50. A big win here for the Saints. It is one which I think a lot of people did feel like they need, and they get a big one here. And before I finish up, one thing which I want to point out, not the dream game for Body's 350th, and definitely a disappointing loss for the Swans, but Saints by 14. Friday night footy at Marvel saw the Western Bulldogs taking on Port Adelaide, and it was the Western Bulldogs 13-7-85 who got defeated by Port Adelaide 16-11-107. Port win by 22. I believe this is their ninth win in a row at Marvel, and their 10th win in a row this season. This side is on a rampaging roll. And besides Collingwood, this is the side which you do not want to play. Collingwood and Port Adelaide are the sides at the moment which you don't want to play. They are the two hardest sides to beat in the competition, at or away from home. And Port put up another great performance here, which definitely should be them making finals now. Top 2 is almost a must from here, really. I feel like that, just especially with the next game, which I'm going to be reviewing, I feel like with that game taken into account, and a bit like question marks over Melbourne, I think we do have a relatively clear top 2 here. But yeah, very good game early on. For the first half, really, we'll bunch those two together. It was an even game. Both sides had their moments. Both sides had their opportunities. This big line here with nothing happening as well. You can see that a big line just there with nothing happening. But then in the third quarter, that's where Port kick into gear, 4-2 from the half-time scores, and then 4 goals apiece in the last quarter, but it is going to prove in the end too hard for the Western Bulldogs to win, despite them hanging around in the game for a little bit, and a couple of controversial free kick to the power as well. Just was sealed the deal. But McRae 129 fantasy, 121 for Butters, who is in great form. He's in Brownlow form at the moment, in all honesty. 116 fantasy for Bontempelli, 110 for Daniel and Trelaw, 109 for Libba, 106 for Rosie. Had another really nice game. 102 for Williams as well. goals behind, 4 goals for Dixon, who was huge on his return. They've missed him, but they've still been able to win without him. But this is just a big outing for him. And speaking about other big outings, this one probably does fly under the radar. Cody Waitman, he had 3 goals, 2 for Ugle-Hagan, Marshall, Power Pepper, Norton, Horn-France, and Jed McKenzie, and Finlayson. Disposals, 34 for Treloar, 33 for Libert, 31 for Bontempelli and Butters, 30 for Dale, Marks, 10 for McRae, 8 for Williams, tackles, 10 for Darcy Burn-Jones, 10 for Vandermeer and Rosie. Hit-outs, 43 for Lysette, 20 for English, 7 for Lobb, 5 for Dixon, 2 for Finlayson. Team stats now, Port Adelaide won inside 50s by just +3, and the Dogs had more of the footy, but Port Adelaide don't really need a lot of the footy, it's just what they do up the corridor, which can hurt you. And clearance is 46-32, 14-14 centre, 32-18 stoppage. So the Dogs' midfield was on top, but it's just what Port can do off turnover, which is pretty big as well. And contested possessions locked, but uncontested footy the Dogs had more of. 91-86 marks, 12-15 marks inside 50. That marks inside 50 stay in favour of the Power. The Port Adelaide did lead for most of this game, and in the end they're on a rampage. That's 10 in a row for them, and 9 I believe in a row at Marvel. First game earlier today, Hawthorn VS Brisbane at the MCG, and it was Hawthorn 15-8-98 that defeated Brisbane 11-7-73. The Hawks win by 25 in the end. What an effort it is for Hawthorn. It's their 4th win of the year, and Brisbane, now it looks like they're starting to waste a couple of opportunities that they've had to really stay in contact with this top 4. Adelaide a few weeks back, and now this one versus Hawthorn, and this MCG hoodoo, despite being broken last year in their win against Melbourne, is looking to perhaps re-establish itself. Not that I want to be mean or anything, but yeah, it's not great here for the Lions, who have lost another game. And Hawthorn are an exciting, young, carrying, fast side, and they got exposed against Adelaide when they weren't quick enough, and I reckon they might have gotten exposed again today. But 4 goals to 3 in the first quarter. It was quite an even game in the first half, really, before Brisbane kicked 3 goals late in that second quarter, and you're kind of like, right, are Hawthorn going to fall away in this game? But fall away was the exact opposite. They did not do that at all. Despite Brisbane kicking the first of the third quarter, and them looking like they might, or the second of the third quarter, and them looking like they might be able to run away with a decent lead, but no, it's Hawthorn to kick 1, 2, 3, 4 in a row to end off the third term, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 in a row in the final term to just seal the deal. And 4 goals to 1 in that final term as well was a nice, little steadier thing there for the Hawks indeed. 145 fancy for Dunkley, 130 for Sicily, 124 for Impey and Neil, 106 for Moore, 102 for Nash, who's having a great year, by the way, Connor Nash. 4 goals for Lewis and Hipwood, 3 for Kazitsky, 2 goals for Moore, McDonald, that's Connor McDonald, Sam Butler, Cameron and Rayner. Disposals now, 32 Sicily, who's a big, massive inclusion backing that Hawk side. 30 for Warple, 30 for Neil, 28 for Newcomb, Impey, McDonald and Dunkley. Marks, 14 for Neil, 12 for Impey, 12 for Sicily. That's another asset he has of his game really well. James Sicily, 12 marks for him again today. 9 for Hardwick, 8 for Dane Hipwood. Tackles, 11 for Dunkley, 8 for McCluggage, 6 for Nash and Berry. Hit-outs now, 30 for McInerney, 18 for Reeves and Meek. That is it with rucks. Team start 62-46. That's a big win there for the Hawks. They smashed Brisbane in that area, have way more footy as well. 27-47 clearances though in favour of the Lions. 14-11 centre in favour of Hawthorn, but 13-36 stoppage in favour of Brisbane. Now this was interesting. Contested possessions 137-124, so plus 13 there, but uncontested possessions 293-190. Brisbane got beaten heavily in that area and made way more turnovers, 58-77 in favour of Brisbane there, which is a stat you don't want to win, is turnovers. Hawthorn took more marks, 110-90. They led for just over half the game, and boy, this was a good effort. This was a really good effort. 12-3 bounces as well. This was a really good effort here from the Hawks. And yeah, their 4th win of the year, they win by 25. Alright, so now in the Saturday twilight time slot, it is Adelaide 92, smashing West Coast 26 at the moment. Adelaide lead by 66, it's 92-26 here at half time. And Walker, he is going on a rampage at the Adelaide Oval at the moment. Nobody can stop him at all. And Adelaide look like they can win this game by over 100. And look, they can get close to scoring. They can score a big number in this game. If West Coast keep doing what they've been doing, they can get a really big number. So, second half of that one, despite it not being a great game, will still be interesting to see how well the Crows can do. Big game for Richmond. That's still a big game in Perth. North Giants, that'll be a good game as well. That'll be a really good game. North are definitely deserving of a win and might get one. Carlton Essendon, that's another really big game tomorrow night at the MCG. And then obviously we know Big Freeze fight MD, how we all love that. And yeah, Melbourne and Collingwood in the King's birthday clash. Couldn't be a bigger game than that. And now to the ladder at the moment. Collingwood still yet to play on Monday. They've got a big game, but Port Adelaide currently even on points. But yeah, they're still to play. And then we've got Melbourne, who still have a game to play as well. But that gap is opening up. As I said, I spoke about that gap a little bit earlier. That gap is going to be big. If Collingwood and Port Adelaide keep winning, and Melbourne and Brisbane lose a couple of really winnable games for them, that gap's going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. And we could be seeing two sides which are just far away off by the end of the year. And then maybe 4 or 5 other sides in this range which are all really close. That's how interesting this ladder is going to be at the moment. At the moment, it still feels like we've got Collingwood and Port Adelaide off in the distance, and then we just got the run on pack behind. You can see how close it is from 3rd to 7th, with Essendon still with that game in hand, which is critical now with that Brisbane loss. That opens up this ladder really massively, and you still see there the Cats have still got that game in hand. Adelaide are going to get a big win, which will chuck the live ladder on. Adelaide are going to get a big win. That'll put them up into 6th. And they can still gain way more percentage than what they've already earned. They can finish with about 114%, even more than that perhaps. And then, yeah, Gold Coast, they've still got Freo. They're the big ones. They've still got like that 2 games in hand, essentially, with your Brisbane. So I think Freo are the big side, which can be the ones to jump in. I might even have to make a video analysing this ladder. There's just so many possibilities and stuff like that, which I'm not going to waste too much more time here. You can see, though, that Hawthorn are on 16 points now, and you'd think, or at least I personally think, North will join them like on 12 points. But yeah, look at Hawthorn, how close they are to 13th. So again, this bottom end of the ladder is quite interesting as well in Sydney. Not a lot of comfortable wiggle room for them, but look, this ladder is so interesting at the moment. It is just so interesting. Alright, but there we go. Thank you guys. It was so much for watching. Please do make sure to leave a like and subscribe and hit that notification bell. Send you guys never miss another video on the channel. Thank you guys so much. Bye everyone. Flame Footy out.